IPL Radio, inspiring passionate lives for the community.
Hello again. You are back in the room with Ali and Karen on the Monday morning motivation show. And my goodness, what a busy morning it has been to date. We've had some incredible guests, and it doesn't just finish there. We've got another amazing guest in with us today. So I would like to introduce I'm going to say I think you're fantastic because I know a little bit about what you do already. But today we have in the studio a Mr. Brian Grindrod, who is from Business Foundations. So good morning and welcome, Brian.
Good morning, Ali.
Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
If I may ask you to begin with, probably a little bit about who Business Foundations is for our listeners. What do they do and how do they help?
Okay. Well,
is that all right?
Business Foundations are a not-for-profit that have been around for 30 years.
Oh, my goodness.
So long history in assisting small business startups.
Right.
And you know, the basic ethos is to enable people to get financial independence by developing a small business economy. And so for 15 to 20 years, we've been launching probably 20 or so small businesses every month.
Okay.
But with COVID, its numbers have almost doubled.
Really?
Up to 30, 35 a month. And so a lot of people, I think, have sat at home and said, I reckon I could run a business from here.
Yeah.
and actually doing it.
Do you know what? I think so many people, especially because, as you know, we had a chat earlier, and obviously I'm a career coach, and there's something coming along which is called the big resignation.
Yeah.
Because since COVID, so many more individuals have realised, do you know what? I can actually make working remotely successful. And if I can do it for an employer, I can probably do it for myself.
Exactly. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah. And so that, I guess, is why there's been such an upturn in business.
It has. And the government, there's what's called the NEIS program, New Enterprise Incentive Scheme. So the government provide free training. Well, we provide the training and they pay us to provide it free to the client. They get a mentor like me for 12 months to work with them.
Oh, my goodness.
Someone on their team.
Oh.
So I liken it to like the 12 months is a bit of a runway. So they need to be flying by the end of that.
Yep.
And almost all do fly.
I love that analogy, a runway. That is absolutely brilliant, you know, to think that, well, at first, none of us can run. We all have to, you know, learn to walk first and then walk upright. And so, but then we gather speed and momentum in our business. And so how do people actually find Business Foundations? Where are you?
Well, we're actually in the old Dockers head office, 100 metres from the train station, opposite the post office in Fremantle.
Oh, there you go.
We've got a long history in Fremantle. We have another office north of the river in Balcatta. But, we're in the original Dockers head office on the first floor by the Wesley Church on the corner of Market and Cantonment Street. So a lot of people coming in to see us, although big shift to Zoom meetings now.
Yep.
But some people still insist they love the live, they want to have the face-to-face, they want the vibes.
Yes.
So, you know, we'll put up wearing masks and we actually sit down and have a pretty good time together.
And that's great. And that's really good to know because obviously you've got that kind of service available. So you've got all bases covered that people, if they would rather actually work via Zoom at home, maybe a parent who's got kids and they can't come into the office. I know I was really lucky when I started. I had a business mentor, a few moons ago now, and I was so grateful because I could actually dial in and I actually had it over the phone and my baby was asleep in the back of the car and I would take the baby for a drive when I was talking to my business mentor, but it meant the world to me.
Look, you know, it's wonderful to have someone who's been down the road that you're travelling and can tell you what to do at what stages and what to watch out for and all that sort of thing. It makes a huge difference, actually.
So it's like a partnership, I guess. Is that probably one way of describing it?
Well, it is. And it is a partnership. And sometimes, you know, we actually touch our little fingers together and commit to actions and things like that. And so I think a good way to look at it is having a sounding board where you can discuss things and express your doubts and concerns and be steered if we can't solve the problem, certainly steer them in the direction where the solution can be found and that kind of thing.
And that's perfect and that's so valuable because I strongly encourage anybody who's thinking about starting a business to firstly discuss their idea with somebody before throwing money at it.
Yep.
Because I'm sure you've seen the good, the bad, and probably some of the ugly results that's happened when people haven't had good business advice.
Yes, I have. In fact, there was a friend of ours from a long time ago who was a gung-ho entrepreneur, and she produced a little example. She produced a range of non-chemical, bicarb-based dishwashing tablets.
Okay.
Which would retail for $8, but without doing a business plan, she didn't discover until she had a container load arrive that it was going to cost $8 to post them, or $6, I think it was actually. So it wasn't viable. So that's jumping in too quick, not evaluating it, and that's why we have such 3 or 4 weeks of webinar training, and to really get a business plan right, work out whether it's going to be viable,
yes,
and maybe have to tweak it if it's not. And some people realise that, it's a great idea, but it's not going to work.
Yeah, this is the time to find
the money.
Yeah, because this is the time that you need to really find this stuff out. And I love trying to help women in particular, because I am a mum, so I call myself a mumpreneur. But I love saving people time, energy, legwork, and also, tears in the wine glass on a Friday night.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Because with your guidance and your support, you help people succeed.
Yep. And do you know one of the most interesting things is, of all the people applying and doing this at the moment, 72% are female.
Oh my goodness.
The tables have really swung that way.
Yep.
Which is wonderful. And probably average 40 upwards, I would say. Not all, but
yeah.
But so there's a heavy amount of people. And I think that the ability to create a lifestyle that works around kids and school and all of that sort of thing is a big motivator.
Absolutely. I'm all about kind of striking that positive work-life balance. So if you've got that family and you don't necessarily want to go back into the job that you used to do before you had kids, maybe this is the time to have a chat with somebody at Business Foundations.
Yeah. And can I just add?
Of course.
There's a whole new program coming out this year from the federal government, which they're calling the Small Enterprise Assistance Program.
Okay.
So the C program.
Okay, C program.
But they're opening it because NICE has been around 36 years now. It's a long, very successful program.
And I never realised that. I didn't realise that was around for so long. My goodness.
So originally it was to give people a chance to get off Centrelink and into a role, but these days it's a mixture of people without that and just people want to start up. But this new program is including businesses already started, so not just startups, but small businesses who want a shot in the arm and a bit of a rocket to push things along to grow their business.
And that's I might be reaching out for that program myself, quite frankly, but as a business owner, I often think, we hear about pivoting, diversifying our business, upscaling, and many small businesses are a little bit scared because they don't know how to upscale safely. And so this sounds like an amazing and exciting program. And I think, I'll certainly be sharing the information with as many people as possible. So can I just ask, are there any training programs coming up that people can jump onto with Business Foundations this year?
We do run a number. We have a wonderful one coming up, I think, over the next couple of weekends, which is really about adding ethics and integrity into business.
Beautiful.
So taking a much more holistic view of business. And so the SBDC actually have a range of programs under their Business Local tag. So if you go online to SBDC, Small Business Development Corporation, and they have a list of them, of which we run a number.
Oh, okay.
But they're subsidised by the state government, so you'll pay, maybe up to $0 to $50 to have someone presenting a workshop who would normally cost $350 an hour. So you get the gurus for a budget rate, and that's brilliant.
And it's great to have that expertise available locally that somebody can tap into pretty much immediately.
Yeah, they're only half-day workshops, but they give you what you need. And so with our clients, we steer them to whatever they need. But I got to say, when you start a small business, you start a new life because you are learning all the time. There's so much more to learn, which is actually great for you.
I think, Do you know, a friend of mine, one of the first pieces of advice that I did listen to, and a friend of mine gave it to me, she actually said, starting a new business is like having a new baby.
It is, isn't it?
You can't just leave it alone. You have to pay a lot of attention, give it a lot of love. You know, it definitely requires a bit of time and commitment.
Yeah. And just to add to that, you know, I actually recommend my clients consider that they're not just building a business, they're building an asset that is going to increase in value over time, and that one day you're going to be bought out for some large amount and you'll end up with a few $100,000 in your bank, and that doesn't happen in life very often at all.
No.
So that's a very common trait.
Wow, I think I need to talk to you further after the show. And so, well, thank you so much. One thing I will just ask you to reiterate, if that's okay. So if somebody was online, how do they find you?
Oh, Business Foundations. We're in the paper, I was going to say phone book. You'll find us everywhere. We have a lot of social media as well. So
online presence
just
there.
Searching Business Foundations. We were even on the Saturday West on page 22 this last weekend.
Oh my
so
goodness!
You'll find us in there as well, because they are interested in this increase in numbers of people getting into business.
Yeah.
But yes, Business Foundations. Just search that, and we'll come up in spades.
And you've got a lot of advisors with a lot of expert knowledge to save people time and money and tears in the wine glass on a Friday night.
Well, there'll be moments where the tears in the wine glass on a Friday night happen anyway. It's part of life and business.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. I'm going to put on another tune now. It is Elton John and Dua Lipa, and I look forward to our listeners connecting with you. Thanks so much, Brian.
Thank you, Ali.